I'm Allison, and I'm an advisory librarian at Skokie Public Library. We are so excited to welcome you to the third chapter of Book Chat. Today, we'll have Vanessa and Chris joining us. They're going to be sharing the books they've been reading and enjoying, and I'm just going to get started right now and hand it over to Vanessa. Take it away, please.
Hi, I'm going to talk today about the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which sort of changed my life. The subtitle of the book, Creative Living Beyond Fear, might lead you to think that the book is only for creative people. But the author believes, in fact, that creativity is inside us all, and that it is the best way to live a good and satisfying life. So don't be intimidated by it. So that being said, I am a creative person. I am the graphic designer at the library, and I'm also an artist. What this book gave to me, however, had more to do with my thinking than my making. In this book, Elizabeth Gilbert is giving us lovely, charming, entertaining stories, as she always does. She's a wonderful storyteller. But she's also giving us lots of insightful little bits of knowledge that are very easy to digest, some of which turn things on its head for me. One of these insightful pieces has to do with permission, about giving ourselves permission and the space to do something just because we really enjoy it. Not because we're supposed to be good at it, not because we need to make money from it, just because we enjoy it and we're worth the time. At one point in this part, she talks about the word passion and how much she hates that word. It's really a setup. It's a lot of pressure and drama to do what you're passionate about. And she instead offers a suggestion of the word creativity, or not creativity, excuse me, curiosity. And I really thought, wow, that really changes things, just to be curious about a thing, not passionate about it. I think I audibly exhaled when I read that part. She also talks extensively about discipline. She believes that ideas and creativities have their own agency, that they don't live in us, but that they visit us. And that our work in life or in art is to show up, that we commit to what we want to commit to, and we commit time and energy, regardless of how we're feeling, and that's the real work of things. And frankly, I find this very freeing. Being creative on demand is very hard. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of pressure. But if I'm being asked to show up, I can do that. I can show up for things I believe in. There's some other really amazing bits of insight in there for you. I think you should find them. I think there's something in there for everyone. So I strongly encourage you to check it out. It is really amazing on audio. Elizabeth Gilbert reads it herself. She's fabulous. And I found it kind of magical, and I think you will too. So with that, I'm going to send it over to Chris.
Thank you, Vanessa. So I am going to talk about the book I'm currently reading, which is Lily King's wonderful new book, Writers and Lovers. It came out this past March. It is King's follow-up to her breakout novel, Euphoria, which came out in 2014, which was wonderfully atmospheric. I really loved the book and thought at the time, I'm definitely going to read whatever Lily King comes out with next. And so that is Writers and Lovers, which follows Casey Peabody. She's a 31-year-old struggling writer. She's living in Boston in the late 90s, and she works as a waiter at a posh but very cozy restaurant in Harvard Square. And her student loan debts are still kind of lingering over her, and so does the sting of the loss of a parent that has recently passed away. And she's enjoying the attention of not just one, but two different suitors, both of whom are pretty quirky, but kind. And as a reader, you're thinking, I'd be totally okay if Casey ended up with either one of these two guys, so long as she's happy. And I think for me, that's what I love most about this book, is that I really care for the main character, Casey. I think she's really smart, she's funny, She's a little lost, but she's really tough too. And I love that she rides this banana seat bike through the Boston area, and she's incredibly observant of all the places around her. The book does take a little bit of time coming into focus, but I was okay with that. I think that Lily King really excels at creating a strong sense of place that especially comes into play during the first 50 pages of the book or so when we're with Casey doing the restaurant work that she's doing, and also what it's like to be on the edge of a new relationship. King has this way with these really striking little observations that kind of sneak up on you as a reader, and they take your breath away. And there's also an undercurrent of sadness and loneliness to the book that really, I think, brings things, or gives the book a lot of extra depth. So I think of everything that I've kind of been watching and reading and listening to in these really weird times, I have found that Writers and Lovers has offered me the most solace. I think I just like spending time with Casey. I love that she works at a restaurant and is surrounded by people. I like hearing the voice that's in her head. I want her character to be okay. And I really hope that other people will discover and take some time with this book. It's available on ebook on Overdrive, and you can check it out there. I'm going to pass it over now to Allyson.
Thanks, Chris. I'm really excited that your book takes place in Boston, because mine takes place just outside of Boston. And that book is Quan Barry's second novel, We Ride Upon Sticks. Think of it as Heathers plus Stranger Things plus a high school field hockey team plus a notebook with Emilio Estevez's face on it. The book follows the 1989 Danvers High School field hockey team, who until now were known as hapless underdogs. That is, until the entire team signs a pledge with a purple Bic pen within the pages of the said Emilio notebook. I'm loving the humor and the 80s nostalgia that also acknowledges the parts of the area that were particularly hard for queer people and people of color. And also, I love the camaraderie, the female empowerment, and also witchcraft, which you should know that I mentioned this takes place outside of Boston, specifically Danvers, which was until 1757 a part of Salem Village, which is where the witch trials were. And I think that gives the title, We Ride Upon Sticks, a little extra meaning. You can find the ebook over on Overdrive Libby. And now over to Becca.
Thank you. The book that I am going to be talking about today is Unearthed, We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. It is a semi-biographical, autobiographical fiction story. Ocean is a poet. The first book that he published was a book of poetry. So this book definitely has a feel about it, even though it's prose, that it was written by someone who is a poet. It was a little under the radar last year. I really wish that more people knew about it and had heard about it, because I just think it is an absolutely gorgeous book. While it is not super upbeat and positive, there isn't really any humor in it. The storytelling is so gorgeous that you just get lost in it. So it's escapism in a very different type of way. It is the story of Little Dog, who is writing a letter to his mother, which she will never read because she is illiterate. But it tells the story of his life. And Little Dog got his name because in Vietnam, they choose for the youngest, smallest child a name that sounds like Little Dog or Pig Face or something like that, so that the spirits will stay away from them and leave them alone and allow them to grow and flourish without having evil spirits focus in on them. And Little Dog has moved with his mother and grandmother from Vietnam to America. His grandmother and mother don't speak English. Neither of them are literate. So he has to kind of navigate his own way in Connecticut alongside helping his mom and his grandmother. Like I said, it's just a spectacular book. It is not briefly gorgeous. It is gorgeous throughout. And that is Unearthed, We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. It is available through Overdrive Libby as both an ebook and an audiobook. The audiobook is read by the author, which I highly recommend hearing his story in his own voice. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Special thank you to Chris and Vanessa for joining us here today. The links to the titles that we've discussed, you'll find in the space below. If you need help with these titles or the thousands of other titles that are available through Overdrive, Libby, or Hoopla, please let us know. You can send the library an email at matchmanagers@skokielibrary.info, or you can use the chat feature on our website to get in touch with us. We would be happy to help. We can't wait until we can be back together with you all again. Until then, happy reading.